Can somebody help Martell? Can somebody please help Martell? Because when your strongest argument is that you done got the girl's hair done one time out of a year, that if that's your strongest argument for trying to get the kids, baby, let me tell you, you're gonna lose every time. But listen, Mel got him together last night. She told him, if you don't just do what the judge ordered you to do, okay, I'm gonna get full custody of these kids myself. All right. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the chatterization. I will be interested in hearing what you got to say. What's going on, Sky Squad? We are back in the building. Happy Sunday fun day, y'all. We getting ready to get into this thing with Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 3, Episode 12. But first, we got a little bit of Housewives tea for y'all, so we're going to get into that first. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We hope you stay. We hope you stick around to have these critical conversations about Housewives and reality TV in general. We do recaps, we do news and commentary. We do it all over here, but we have a good time while we're doing it. If you are in the chatterization right now, why don't you go ahead and drop that location down in the chatterization so I can see what you up to this morning and where you're located at, because we're a little bit nosy around here. We just want to know where you're watching from. I see Bernice in the house from New Jersey. Trinidad is in the building. Hey, I see y'all. Oh, yes. We's in the building. Phoenix in the building. Come on now, Woodstock, Georgia. I see you over there. I see you, New Jersey, St. Louis. Come on now, Richmond, VA is in the building. Dallas, Texas, Baton Rouge, hungover in San Antonio. I ain't mad at it at all. Columbia, South Carolina, Delaware, Mississippi, Barbados, Glasgow, Scotland, Jamaica, Louisville. We in the building, y'all. New York, Jersey in the building. Of course, Rochester, New York, South Africa, baby. Charleston, South Carolina. We got Georgia in the building, Maryland in the building, San Diego, Birmingham, Alabama, Las Vegas. Come on, Merlin, Hawthorne, Virgin Islands. I see y'all, baby. We doing the thing big today on this good Sunday, and I can't wait to get into this news. So let's go ahead and stage dive into what exactly we need to talk about today. And the first thing on the docket is going to be Real Housewives ALLStars. Oh, yes, we got some news on the ALLStars. We got a date, folks. We have got a date for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip featuring your girls Cynthia Bailey, Kenya Moore, Teresa Giudice, Ramona Singer, Luann de Lesseps, Melissa Gorga, and Kyle Richards. So if you got the Peacock, okay, if you got the Peacock or you're thinking about getting the Peacock, this is when you guys can catch the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. And just a little bit of tea we're going to give you. Shout out to our friends over at Queens of Bravo for posting this. Just a little bit of tea we're going to give y'all on this good Sunday morning about the show. Some things you should know about the show in general, about what you're going to see. Now, apparently, they do confessionals, but they do confessionals on the fly. So anytime any of the housewives felt like venting, they could actually go into a confessional room in the heat of the moment. And apparently this happened a lot. So y'all remember, I don't know if you recall, but they used to do these on the fly, or they call them OTF interviews, where they would just basically do it after you finish the scene. I did a couple of those when I did Stripped on Bravo, but they used to do them a lot back in like Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 1, OC Season 1, and I think maybe even New York Season 1. They don't really do those like that no more. Oh, yes. Like the Bad Girls Club used to do it. Boom. There you go. You don't have to pay for Peacock. I don't know. I think there's tiers to Peacock. But I think I have Peacock right now, and I'm able to watch my Murder, She Wrote, okay, on the Peacock for free. So I ain't paying nothing for it as of yet. I don't know if this is going to be on the premium side of it or what, but I'm not paying for anything with Peacock right now. So you don't have to worry about that. Unless they do something where it is tiered and you have to pay for it. JMW with the super chat says, I wish the girls trip was on Bravo due to them needing something on TV. I'm excited for Kenya and Teresa. I know. So listen, when I actually do these reviews, because you know I am, when I do these reviews, I'm gonna hate to have to talk about something that a lot of people are not gonna watch because they may think that they have to pay for it, or they may have to pay for it, but we still gonna have to talk about it, okay? Because it's going on in the Bravo world. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be on a premium or not. But thank you for the super chat, JMW. You know, I always appreciate the support. So yeah, I don't pay for my Peacock. When I want to watch my Murder, She Wrote, okay, I can go ahead and watch it for free. All 12 seasons. Okay. Anyway, so they are saying that compared, and this is based on an interview with not a feature in Cosmopolitan magazine. This is where all this information is in case you guys want to go back and look at it. And as you guys can see here, Queens of Bravo did tag Cosmopolitan. Now, apparently, I don't know if they will have regular confessionals, but I know that they do have those on the fly confessionals where they can just kind of like, you know, like the real world, they can kind of go in there and just talk and vent or whatever they want to do. Let's see here. What else can I tell you guys about it? Apparently it will be between 6 and 8 episodes. I'm hearing 6 to 7, but it could go up to 8 episodes. Kenya says this was a trip of a lifetime. It was a roller coaster ride, but I do it again, even with ladies I bumped heads with. Let's see here. Apparently from Ramona, she says, where's their drama? Well, I know I caused a lot of it. It's 8 days total, 7 nights, 24, and the cameras were going 24/7. So they had cameras like up in, you know how they had the cameras in the house in Charleston when Real Housewives of Atlanta went to the Charleston house and they had to cover those cameras. They got those cameras up in the house, so they're being filmed around the clock. There were 10 group excursions, and it was only 30 minutes before somebody had an argument. Okay. So it's about to be lit. All right. It's about to be lit. Yeah, I love me some Murder, She Wrote. Okay. Come on now. I mean, Jessica Fletcher. Listen, ain't nobody had no more drama than Jessica Fletcher, because Jessica Fletcher, if you really think about it, if you really go back and watch those things, you will have to ask yourself, why is she wondering how she get caught up in so much mess? I ain't ever seen nobody in more mess than Jessica JB Fletcher. It didn't make no sense to me. And she wasn't even like a private investigator or a detective or nothing like that for her to be caught up in everybody's drama and murder mystery every episode. But you got to think about it. If you're surrounded by this much murder, maybe you the problem. That's what I be thinking when I watch her. Okay. But I digress, because we about to, now that's a good question, Inspired with McMillan. When are we supposed to get this trailer? That's a real good question. If we get in the show November 18th, when is a trailer coming? I'm going to need a trailer ASAPidly. It'll probably come this week. Now, usually they'll drop a trailer when I'm traveling, but I ain't got no travel plans. So come on with it, Bravo and Peacock. Come on with it. Bring it on. Bring it on over here. All right, let's move on, because we got more to talk about. All right. Claudia Jordan. Y'all know Claudia and Phaedra been going at it. If you've been keeping up with this channel, you know the drama started when Claudia and Shamari was asked about reading Phaedra Parks on the Real Housewives of Atlanta if they were to come back. And then they joked about, Shamari joked about reading her. Then Claudia, asked basically, well, what does she do? Is she a mortician? Is she a lawyer? What is she? And has she ever won a case? So then Phaedra clapped back on her Instagram and posted about her new anthology, not anthology, but her new series on All Black. And she basically joked about, other people begging and pleading for jobs, but she's adding another one to her resume so they can check actress off her list now as well. Basically a clap back at Claudia asking about what does she do? Is she a lawyer or a mortician? And then she indicated that she was booked, blessed, and busy, and hashtag sober. And I'm assuming that was a reference to either Claudia stating that they had been drinking after when they had done that live, or about Shamari's time on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, where, they really did a lot of showcasing her getting, kind of intoxicated and kind of giving her the look of someone who couldn't control her alcohol. Well, now Claudia Jordan is clapping back in a major way, and here's what she has to say. Okay. So the first thing we get is Claudia saying, if people only knew the real truth about some of their faves who front so much, their minds will be blown. So then this is another IG story that comes next where she says, let me go back. If people only, their minds will be blown, blah, 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 blah. Move forward just a little bit. So then she says, casting men to pretend they're into you for TV and photo ops, infidelity, trying to sue networks, then act surprised why they don't ask you back. Now, this is something interesting I did not know. I mean, and you have to wonder, is she indicating that PHAEDRA did this? Trying to sue networks and then act surprised why they don't bring you back? Or is she talking about somebody else? Because the only person I knew that might have been indicating that they might have been trying to sue a network was Nene. So is she talking about Nene or is she talking about PHAEDRA? I don't know. I'm assuming she was talking about PHAEDRA, but if that was the case, I did not know. Or unless she's speaking in general about someone else and I'm totally misreading it, which I could be. I'm totally with the fact that I could be misreading that. But it was interesting that she put this. Let's see here. Wait, who says Claudia read Nene into the ground? That's why you hate her. Who hates Claudia? I absolutely love. Let me tell you something. I think I don't have no issues with Claudia. I love her. Claudia Jordan is, to me, and the reason why I love her, and most people don't really understand this, is because I understand her hustle within this industry. And if you watch my video on Life After Reality TV, I really talk about the world of reality TV and what you should be doing afterwards. And for me, given that she has worked in the industry of news and entertainment as well, I admire her hustle. So to me, I don't hate nobody. That's number one. I don't have that type of energy. Anyway, Claudia says this: plain dumb about illegal scams they know they were part of, fake and evil, slanderous, horrible lies on friends for storylines, no wins, 80s eyeshadow, pre-written reads, fraud, falsely attaching yourself to celebs that quickly deny you, and lying about due dates. Now, this all screams PHAEDRA Parks. I mean, to me, I don't know. But let me know what y'all think in the chatterization. Okay, we're gonna move on. There's more. She said, now that's a read because it's fact-based. Now let me get ready for the show tonight. Tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, getting a job is not a big deal when you're used to it. A blessing, yes, but nothing to gloat about. It is what it is, beloved. Elmo says, PHAEDRA met her match with Claudia. Shady, fraudulent, Faye should have just went for Shamari. Elmo, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I forgot how savage, PHAEDRA's a good reader. Claudia is also a savage reader as well. So here we get to the video.
I really do hate when I get pushed to use my superpowers for evil, because I don't want to. I don't even like none of that. But, I'm gonna just say this to everybody out there. And yes, my lip line is way outside my lips, because I ain't got no lips. Y'all be coming for that. Got me all insecure. Not really. We're in a time, y'all, where fake liars, people that just give you a whole fake existence for the gram, are being celebrated. And the people that call that out or ain't really with that are being deemed the bad guys. Because like right now, fake is loved and real is hated. You can just see this every single day in society. I sit back and I watch, I be like, God damn, they bought that. But that's just how it is right now. And I hope it swings the other way. I really do. I hope it swings the other way, where we come back around, where people value actual natural people, good people, kind people, people that tell the truth. And their delivery might be harsh, but they have good intentions. You feel me? Because I just see too much of this reality TV / social media influenced society now, where if you get someone together, oh bitch, you did that, but you be lying about the stuff you be saying, you know what I mean? Or, you know, you ain't shit, but you post yourself with some designer stuff, so people forget that you ain't shit, and they just be like, yes bitch, yes. No bitch, no, you still ain't shit, you still a rotten person in your soul. And this is for several people. It's for several people. And this in no way, shape, or form is meant to come off as I am perfect, because I am not. And I still have my things I need to work on, which are very evident. And I will. I'll get there. I absolutely will. My intentions are good, though. You know. But a lot of little snarky shit came about after me and a girlfriend of mine went live. We were drinking. It was late. You know, worked 14 days in a row. Hard. And now there's like a little bit of a tit-for-tat thing going on.
It is a tit-for-tat thing going on.
I can read like with the best of them, but I don't want to. Like all the stuff I know, I don't want to. But if you push me, I will. And this particular thing ain't really about me. The jab you gave me was weak. But the thing you said about my friend was a low blow. And I know you know about low blows and air mattresses.
Ooh.
Blowing on air mattresses. So don't do that. Don't do that to my friend. I will put my neck out there to defend someone that I think don't deserve
Not
it.
the air mattress.
Y'all seen that about me. I don't like. And it's not cool. You know, don't be at events preaching women's empowerment and protect black women, and then be a total online with it. Because honey, you have a lot more things I could come for than you have on me. I got some corns and a bad mouth.
Well, let's just hope that's the end of that. Okay. There's really no place else to go. Next topic, okay? We're gonna move right along. We got to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 3, episode 12. Baby, let me tell you something. I got to ask y'all this. Did y'all catch that super trailer for the second half of the season of Love and Marriage Huntsville? Baby, let me tell you, I was just too through with Carlos King and all of them. You got the mamas involved in the drama coming up at the end of this season, and I cannot wait. Now that trailer, I'm gonna have to react to that trailer on Instagram. Y'all, just as soon as I'm done with this live, you best believe I'm about to react to that trailer, because we got to talk about it. And because I can't react to it on YouTube, I gotta find someplace else to do it, and Instagram about to be that place. Anyway, Sherry Cherry says if CJ was so busy and had a life, she wouldn't have time for getting lit and going live talking about other people. That's thirsty behavior. Thank you so much for your super chat, Sherry Cherry. Appreciate you, boo. Yeah, let's hope they just two lovely women. Just let's hope they just go ahead and keep it moving. But let me tell you something like this. Last thing I have on that subject, it'd be interesting to see them both on the Real Housewives of Atlanta at this point, because clearly they don't get along. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, if you happen to see last night's episode of the Real Housewives of Huntsville, baby, I was about to say the Real Housewives of Huntsville. If y'all caught the last night's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 3, episode 12, BDE, Big Depression Energy, go ahead and chat and chime in with your raterization down in the chatterization down below, because we're about to get into that right now. Now, for me, I'm going to rate this episode a 9, okay? I'm going to give it a solid 9, because, I'm gonna give it a 9 because one of those scenes I felt like lasted a very long time, and I found it insightful, but it just lasted for a long time. And the scene that I'm talking about is the scene at the restaurant with Marceau, Maurice, Kimmy, and Letitia. Okay. Now it was a very important conversation, but I just felt like it's still going on. Okay. I could have used a little bit more. And you're right, 12 star. I feel like this episode was more of a preparation for I feel like the main parts of this episode were basically that conversation about depression, as well as the conversation with Melody and Martell about the kids. Okay. Um, so it's a good season. And again, me rating this a 9 is different from me rating some of the other Housewives shows that we watch as a 9 because I just feel like the tier level is different for this show. It's just giving me more than I ever could have wanted from any of the Housewives shows. And I just feel like it gives me it's on par with like a Married to Medicine vibe because as you guys know, for many of us, we are really interested in relationships and love and marriage. So, I just feel like that's probably why so many of us are really interested in this story or in the stories that are being portrayed on this show. Let's get into it. So we got 3 simultaneous scenes going on here. Well, actually 4. Okay. We have, the guys, they're still in Vegas. The guys are fixing the food in Vegas. They recap Marceau mentioning his depression, and Martell mentions how he may be depressed and not even know it as well. Okay. It seems like all the guys might be going through a little bit of a mental just going through some things mentally that would definitely probably they could all probably benefit from some therapy. And ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of therapy, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of guidance and counseling. And I feel like I did like that they were having this discussion because for me I think it's also important and for men, especially Black men, to be transparent about their mental struggles because it will encourage other Black men to do the same, hopefully, or it may encourage their wives to talk to their husbands or their girlfriends or whomever they may be to talk with each other about whatever is going on and investigate whether or not, it could be that therapy could be beneficial for them or not. Marceau says that he's never going to give up that much time again for money. And this is so interesting to me. And I understand that because I feel like I am of the same frame of mind where it's work, 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 work. And amen, baby. Amen. I feel like for a lot of us, it is work, 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 work. And so much so that we sacrifice, our own happiness for security and trying to make ends meet and trying to pay bills off and trying to get to that next level, so much so that we forget sometimes to even focus on ourselves. And that's basically where Marceau is. Marcel's analogy I thought was very good. He said, I really want to fly. So I really want to fly. I learn how to fly and I fly, but now I'm afraid of falling. Okay. And now he talks about having to get comfortable with flying. And I can really relate to that because I feel like you work so hard to get to a certain space. You get to that certain space, and then it's almost like you're a hamster on a hamster wheel, just spinning and spinning and spinning because you are so afraid of falling and getting back to that space where you used to be that you cannot fathom, any other way to make that work. So you got to learn how to get comfortable flying. I really related to that. I thought that was so amazing that he said that. We learned that Maurice feels similarly, and he reasons that it's because they are both high achievers and how he too is under a lot of stress. I would also wager that it may be something from their own their childhood. And as we will hear about later, Marceau does tell us that he grew up poor and he doesn't want to ever be poor again. And I can definitely understand that too. As I stated in my Life After Reality video on my personal channel, let me tell y'all something, being broke is expensive. Okay. Being broke is expensive. And if you ain't ever been drop dead broke, you may not understand what I'm talking about. But I will tell you that when you have nothing and when you are down to nothing and then things start piling up, it gets even more and more expensive for you to live because things go without being taken care of. So it just, I understand where he is with that. Once you have been there to the bottom, you don't ever want to go back there, and you will do whatever is in your power to not go back there. But that creates a vicious cycle of desperation and working so hard that you become almost desperate to never go back there. And then you almost start repeating some of those same behaviors, right? So that's just something that I was like, wow, like he is really speaking to me. And I will be honest and transparent with you guys. Like that, I mean, I felt like that was a message for me last night. You know what I'm saying? That was definitely a message for me. Martell basically says how much he appreciates the guys. So Kimmy is recapping the chapel incident with Letitia and Marceau and talking about his depression. Apparently, Letitia has been having issues with this notion that she has to travel a lot by herself with the kids. I can understand that being a difficult pill to swallow, because I think when you sign up for a marriage or a relationship and then you decide to have kids, I don't think that any one partner reasonably thinks to themselves, I will be the person who is spending the most time with the kids, and I will be the person who has to spend the most time with them, thus sacrificing my own life. So I understand where Letitia feels with that, because I would feel the same way. If I was home with the kids all day, just because of the nature of either my work or whatever the case may be, I would be a little bit angry, because I do feel like when you have kids, it is usually especially if you marry, typically it's usually a mutual decision to move forward with having kids in some way, shape, or form, however you chose to conceive. And so then I don't know that one parent, unless they sign up for it, is, thinking to themselves, well, I'm about to give up everything because I'm going to be the person taking care of the kids while you go out and have your life and do what you need to do. That don't feel right. I can understand how she feels that way. Anyway, Kimmy understands that, and she says that she and Letitia both have to compromise because they are married to Scott men, because of the Scott men's desire to serve and protect, which again goes back to their desire to never be broke again. So they are working so hard in the midst of desperation to succeed, but in doing so, what they are doing is putting their wives in a situation where they have to compromise what they want and what they feel like would be good for the relationship, because the men are so busy working. And we've seen that from the jump with this whole show. Letitia and Kimmy recap their own relationship. They agree not to let other people into it. They hug it out. Kimmy wants Letitia to call her for support anytime she needs it. I will say Letitia does look amazing in her new confessional. She looked really, really good. Lewis and Tiffany recap the night before as well. We get a flashback that we did not get in the previous episode of apparently Destiny approaches Tiffany in order to resolve their issues and figure out what they need to do to move on, which I admire. And I feel like, again, we talked about this briefly yesterday about how you can have tension with the character, you can go at it with the character, but at a certain point in time, you need to have a way that you can resolve it. I feel like Tiffany and Destiny's issue haven't gotten so deep that they cannot resolve it, even though I feel like Destiny will probably always be a little bit irked by Tiffany, okay? They agreed to have a spa day or something like that, and we will hopefully soon see that come to fruition. Based on what we saw in the super trailer for the second half of the season, it looks like they're going to have that little Ponderosa. Okay, for those of you guys who don't understand that Ponderosa reference, it is a Jackie Christie reference to a meeting of sorts where the ladies have to sit down and hash out their issues. Okay, Melody herself feels like the trip was a complete disaster. And we learn later that she will have to take about a week to herself to get her energy back right, because she had gotten into it so bad with Martell. And I understand that. So we're back in Huntsville 1 week later. Tiffany goes to visit Melody at her office. Now, in case you forgot, let me debrief you. The reason the way we met Tiffany initially anyway was because Melody wanted to hire some interns. Tiffany works, I guess, as an HR professional in some capacity and was going to be providing interns for Melody. She had been apparently calling Melody to get these interns in to work with her or to interview with Melody, but Melody won't picking up the phone because, again, Melody needed some time to herself. So Melody apologizes for, ignoring her calls. She's in her office packing up some God Said Go merchandise. And, Melody also apologizes on behalf of Destiny for threatening to drag Tiffany. Mel says that she's sensitive to Destiny's trials, and Tiffany relays that Destiny agreed to meet with her. And I feel like Mel, the queen bee, is happy again now that she knows, the ladies, in her tribe will be trying to get along. Okay, it gave me Queen Bee vibes. That's what that scene gave me. Like Tiffany's coming to bow down to the queen. Girl, I'm about to go make nice with Destiny. All is about to be well in your kingdom. There's enough of you, Mel, to go around, and I understand it. That's what it felt like to me. I don't know. Did it feel like that to you? Meanwhile, Martell decides to take his son Lewis to the baseball camp. Okay, now Martell is still ranting about these songs that Melody done wrote about him. Lewis tells him, brother, you lost it on Mel, and we was concerned because we had to hold you back. Do you think you have some anger management issues or you need some anger management classes? And listen, I feel like now I know Lewis don't really, from what we gather on the show, Lewis ain't been around that long, but he's seen enough to know something. Okay. And for him to sit up there and ask Martell if he has considered anger management classes or something like that, I was like, Lewis, you hit the nail on the head. Now, it's a little bit invasive, but it was some real talk. And I do feel like, I don't know why they was having to hold Martell back, but they were. What was he going to do? What was he going to do? So, yeah, some anger management might be the right direction for him. While I do feel like it was invasive for Lewis to say, I think he was on the right path. And sometimes you just got to have somebody around you that's going to keep it real. And it looks like Lewis was doing that. Martell then relays that now Melody has a babysitter 70% of the time because she's so busy. And he's going to mention to Mel that he wants full-time custody of the kids. He says it'll be a lot for him, but he's willing to make a sacrifice. Two things here. One, if you got all this extra time, you might want to be working on your builder's license. That's number one. That's the first thing that I want to talk about. And then the second thing is Lewis asked Martell how he thinks Melody's going to respond to that. And Martell says he thinks she might be all right with it. And Lewis is accurate in his assessment that she probably won't. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this really just goes to show how little you really know your ex-wife. Because if you know her in any way, shape, or form, and I only know her through the TV screen, but even just knowing her through the TV screen, I know she's not going to be okay with that. So why doesn't he? He seems very clueless when it comes to his interactions with his ex-wife. It's just odd to me. Like, why wouldn't you know that? You should know that. You should know that. And mind you, while you got this time on your hands, again, you could be studying for your builder's license. How about that? Okay. Because the way Melody described it later, the money was funny last year. Okay. The money was funny. So I think it might behoove him to be working on, just getting those finances back to the way they're supposed to be. And that's no shade from me to him, because I understand going through a divorce can be costly. Okay. So there's that. So Kimmy and Maurice meet with Letitia and Marceau. Kimmy admits that they want to be there for Marceau after his depression announcement, and Letitia admits that she was clueless about this depression. Marceau says, well, it's not like I'm gonna do anything about it, and he feels like it was basically a stage. And it's such a bother to me, because it was like such a big revelation, and then it was like, you reveal this major thing to your friends and family, and then you try to just act like it never happened. Like, oh, well, I ain't gonna go see nobody about it. I ain't gonna talk to nobody about it. And they do this. He does this analogy later on where he says, it's like, I told y'all my knee was hurting, and all of a sudden y'all want me to go get surgery. And it's like, well, yeah, if something is wrong with your knee, you go get it fixed. You don't just sit around and wait for it to try to heal itself. That's not going to do no. And see, this is part of what I was talking about. Remember when I told y'all, being broke is expensive? Let's take it all the way back to that. Now, if you are broke and you cannot, and being broke is expensive, and the reason why I say that is this. Let's say you don't have any money. You might not have no insurance. So you probably can't go to the doctor to get the things done that you need to get done. So then what happens is, whatever the problem is, whether it's your teeth or whether it's your body, that problem is not going to go away. It's just going to persist and continue to get worse. Now, when you're broke, you can't afford to go and get nothing done with it. So the only thing you can do is hope for the best. Meanwhile, that problem is getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So much so that by the time you do get around to trying to fix it, it's going to be a lot more, probably three times more expensive than it was initially if you had gotten it checked out when you first had the problem, but you ain't had no money to get the problem checked out. So what did you do? You had to just suffer through it. He almost has that mentality going into this situation where it's just like, well, I'm just going to wait around to see if the thing get fixed. No, why don't you go get it checked out now? Because as Letitia is going to tell him in this scene, listen, my auntie, her auntie, not mine, but her auntie apparently had some type of knot on her breast or her chest or something like that, didn't get it touched or didn't get it looked at, and then had to suffer the consequences of not having that check. And she just does not want anything to happen to Marceau as a result. Now, I don't know if, because this isn't necessarily a physical issue, I don't know. Part of me feels like, was she overly concerned or was she the right amount of concern? But regardless, I feel like she has the right to be concerned, and him brushing everybody off just goes right back to the same problems he's always had, which is definitely still in this misogynistic frame of mind that I do not need therapy. Even so much so that Maurice basically offers, hey, he says, listen, I'm a Scott man too. I understand what it's like to come from a broke, mindset and household or whatever like that. So why don't we as brothers go together? And I was like, Maurice, this is probably one of the best things you have ever said. Now, I'm sure he said a lot of good stuff about credit and fixing your credit and things like that. But to me, based on the show, this was probably the best thing I ever heard him say. And then for Marceau to say, no, I'm good. How long we gonna do this? How long we gonna tap dance around this thing? Okay. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to go when your wife surprised you. And now you don't want to go when you say you're depressed. You want to sit and stew in this? And again, I get it. I'm not going to try to say he's wrong totally, because I understand it. I'm in the same, again, I'm somewhat there in the same frame of mind. I'm going to continue to do all this work because I got some things that I want to accomplish. And once I accomplish those things, then I'll slow down or something like that. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying that I'm depressed right now. He is. So if you feel like you've been depressed for a year, it's time for some therapy. Okay? It's time for some therapy. The other thing that happens in this situation is that, Letitia is very concerned because Marceau does not come to her with these issues. And Kimmy actually makes a great point that, and it's a harsh point that Letitia is not going to like, but Kimmy is more of an advocate of therapy versus just sitting around and talking about it to your friends or your spouse, because sometimes it could be your spouse. Baby Letitia did not like that, and she feels like Kimmy was trying to shade her, and she feels like now they're going right back to where they were before they agreed that they wasn't going to let anybody else get into their relationship. See, the problem with Letitia is that she is overly sensitive about her relationships in general. That is with Kimmy, that is with Marceau, and I just kind of feel like it almost seems to me like any little push pin could push Letitia in the wrong direction. And I just feel like while she may not appreciate it hearing Kimmy say that, I think if she looks at the situation objectively and takes herself out of it, because this is about Marceau and not about her, that she would realize that, okay, you know what, similar, because here's the thing. Letitia's source of stress is Marceau. She's going to therapy because of her issues with him. So she, to me, should be the first to have the red light, green light, that maybe Kimmy is correct. All I'm saying. That scene took up the majority of this episode, to be honest with y'all. And again, this is why I say, I was like, is the whole episode this scene? It wasn't bad. It was actually good, but it just took up a lot of time. Okay. Anyway, Martell decides to meet up with Melody to discuss having the kids full time. Melody walks in. She's looking radiant. And we learned that she's fasting today. Now, she's probably fasting because she knows she got to deal with Martell. So if I was her, I might be fasting too. Okay. I might have to fast days and weeks ahead of time before I knew I had to go and interact with this man. But anyway, they recap Vegas and what triggers the two of them. Martell giggles about how happy he was to see her in Vegas, but she wonders why he needed two men to hold him back when they was arguing. Okay. I kind of wonder that too. And I keep thinking to myself, what was he going to do? Why was he getting so like hyped up like that to the point where they having to hold him back? Anyway, and then they start. And by start, I mean, y'all know what I mean. They do the Melody and Martell dances with wolves. You know what I'm saying? They just can't help but go at it with each other about this and that and about their relationship and who did what and whatnot. And we all know Martell cheated. He gonna try to make it seem like she was doing something wrong. And at the end of the day, he's going to start taking jabs at her. She's going to have to then correct those jabs and then redirect those jabs back at him. And it's just going to be more of the same. Okay. I can just basically give you that part of it right there. You know, if you've seen one Melody and Martell argument, you pretty much know exactly where it's going. But this one does take a slightly different turn. They get into why they are really there. It's the kids. Martell feels like Melody has a lot of babysitters. Okay. One time it was even 3 babysitters in one day, according to him. But she has to tell him, no, one of those babysitters was your cousin. Okay. So he pulls out his Palm Pilot. Okay. Yeah, I said it, Palm Pilot, because he had to go check the calendar. So he checking the dates while Melody is running down the list of dates from her head. Okay. She know in her head what happened with her and the kids. But he got to go back and check those dates. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was Sunday, August the 24th. Okay. Now, what you say it was again? What you said? What date was it? Because that's not what I have. Nope, you're wrong. The Palm Pilot say, oh, let me put on my glasses. What the Palm Pilot said. And I was like, man, you should have had this whole thing laid out better than that ahead of time. Matter of fact, you probably should have came to this meeting with a lawyer, because doing this by yourself, I mean, it was just like he was taking the witness stand or he was taking the stand in court, but he had no lawyer. That's what that whole scene felt like to me. It was like, just represent yourself. Do what you can. Just do what you can. And I felt like she came in there ready to play ball. Like she had the files and everything, the paperwork already in her pocketbook, the little pocketbook that she had. She had all the paperwork in her little pocketbook. You know, she was ready for him. She had it in her memory banks. And I was like, the one here, This man gonna say to her, okay, well, I had to get her hair, the little baby's hair done. You had to get her hair done one time, and that's your rationale? Sir. And she gotta let him know. She gotta let him know, listen, I was getting her hair done for a year because you ain't had no money. He said, he ain't even denied. He said, well, I got it now. I got it now. I got it now. I'm like, okay, well, where you get it from? Anyway, get your builder's license. You know what it really makes me feel like? And I hate to say this. It makes me feel like in their marriage, Mel was the brains behind the operation. It seems like she was the person who was making the ship run. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like he just did the posturing and puffing out his chest. You know what I'm saying? Wheeling and dealing. But she was really behind the scenes, pressing the buttons and making sure the thing worked, right? And the other thing is, he don't think as fast as her. She thinks very fast, okay? She got a response for everything. Even this is why she usually takes, unless she allows him to take her to the point of yelling, she's usually like, if she stays calm like she did yesterday, she too fast for him. She too fast for him. She like the road runner, okay? She like the road runner, and he is like, who the road runner be outrunning? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, she basically has to tell him, listen, I'm not doing anything that you want me to do right now. I'm not going to give you first right of anything, because she feels like if he gets the first right anytime she has to do something, meaning that he would get the kids first, that is going to be another way of him controlling her. And she's not here for that thing no more. And I'm so glad to hear it. Now, she also tells him, listen, file a petition for it. And that's technically the way he should be doing it, okay? And again, this is one of those situations where, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have no kids, but what I can tell you is this. If you got a situation where it's contentious with you and the baby mama or the baby daddy or whatever the case like that, you're not getting no child support, whatever you might be doing, I know you may not want to take them to court. I know you may not want to let the law handle it. I know you might want to keep them out of jail because they ain't paid that child support in a couple of months. But by golly, if you don't get in there and let the courts do what they need to do, you best to, okay? You can save yourself a lot of trouble and heartache by letting the courts handle the situation. And I feel like if that's what he wants to do, then he needs to go file that petition in court. And then she told him, you better do what the judge ordered, okay? Do what the judge ordered. And she gets up and she get her pocketbook and she gone. She out. Deuces, okay? So listen, y'all, that was Love and Marriage Huntsville. I told y'all we had a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about today. I'm stuck. Okay. I'm stuck. It's looking like it's going to be a really lit second half of the season, more so than I even expected. I wasn't even sure we had that many more episodes to go because they went on that cast trip. But Carlos King said, no. We're going the distance this year, and the mama's about to get involved. That's what I'm kind of like, oh, snap. Not the mamas. Martell's mama getting into it with Destiny. You got Melody's mama going up against Miss Wanda and Letitia. Oh, it's about to be lit this season. So thank God we ain't going to finish Love and Marriage Huntsville no time soon. So hopefully we'll get that reunion like Carlos King told us we would. Okay. And we about to get this thing popping. All right. So listen, that's Sunday's review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tonight, guys, we have Real Housewives of Potomac. We will be reviewing that tomorrow. So I have Good Day DC tomorrow. We're going to do a little recap of Real Housewives of Potomac on Good Day DC for Celebrity Dish. Then around 11, we're going to do our Real Housewives of Potomac review. And then at 2 p.m., we will be doing our review for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with Up and Adam. And it's a full day for a Monday. So if you guys can tune in, if you're in the Washington, D.C. or the DMV area, you can tune into Good Day DC. If not, I will have a link. I will post it either during the video for Potomac when we do our own recap, or I'll post it in the community page on our channel. A lot going on. A lot, y'all. But I love it. A lot. I love it. I would not have it any other way. I love y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay focused today. Y'all get some rest. It's Sunday. I want y'all to enjoy yourselves. Go have some brunch if you need to. I'm about to do this. I think I'm going to do this this Love and Marriage Huntsville reaction to the trailer. Otherwise, no, when I was done, y'all, I was tired. I just I ain't have time. We'll talk about it tomorrow though, because you know it's about to go down tonight. I love y'all, and I will catch y'all in the next video.